Is the explosive rally in memory chips just getting started? This week, Micron Technology found itself at the heart of an industry-wide supply crunch, with demand for its AI-focused memory far outstripping what the industry can produce. The company announced it's already shipping its next-generation HBM4 memory ahead of schedule, with all of its 2026 capacity completely sold out. This news sent analysts scrambling to raise their price targets, with some now seeing the stock reaching $500 or even $600 per share. But with competitors like Samsung also ramping up production, the key question is, was this a breakout week for Micron, or is the competition heating up faster than the market thinks? Introduction. Welcome to TickerWatch News for Micron Technology, Week 7, 2026. In this episode, a look at the major news and market developments for Micron Technology as the company navigates an unprecedented boom in the artificial intelligence memory market. Stock snapshot. It was a volatile but ultimately positive week for Micron Technology. After dipping early in the week on news of competitors' advancements, the stock rallied to close the week strong. Recent trading saw the share price in a range of approximately $420 to $423, putting its gain for the week at over 4%. Over the past month, the stock is up more than 23%, and year-to-date it has climbed over 40%. This performance stands in sharp contrast to the broader market, with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 both showing slight losses for the year. Investor interest is exceptionally high. Reports indicate Micron is one of the most searched-for stocks online, and social media platforms show a surge in bullish retail sentiment. The key takeaway is that despite some turbulence, the stock's powerful upward trend continued, leaving the broader market indexes far behind. Top news and headlines. The biggest story of the week revolves around the intense demand for AI memory. At an investor conference, Micron executives stated that business conditions have strengthened since their last earnings call. Demand for memory, especially in AI systems, is significantly higher than what Micron or the entire industry can currently supply. This imbalance is expected to persist beyond 2026. This isn't just about volume, it's driving prices higher. According to one report, pricing for DDR5 memory has already increased 30% year-to-date. This structural demand from the AI hardware build-out has been a major tailwind for the company's performance. In response to this demand, Micron confirmed it has begun high-volume production of its next-generation HBM4 chips. Customer shipments started in the first calendar quarter, which is a full quarter earlier than the company had previously guided. Underscoring the tight supply, Micron also stated that its entire HBM capacity for 2026 calendar year is already sold out under multi-year agreements. This news helped clarify Micron's position after what executives called inaccurate reporting, confirming that Micron is a key player in shipping the highest value products in its portfolio. However, the competitive landscape is heating up. Reports early in the week indicated that Samsung has also begun mass production of its HBM4 chips and has secured orders from major customers like NVIDIA. This news briefly sent Micron's stock lower as investors weighed the risk of increased competition in the high-margin HBM market. While Micron later clarified its own progress, it's clear that the race to supply the world's top AI chip makers is intensifying among a small number of key memory producers. To address the long-term demand, Micron is making significant investments in new production capacity. They have broken ground on a new NAND fab in Singapore, with initial output expected in the second half of 2028. Additionally, Micron has acquired a site in Taiwan for future DRAM production, which could come online in late 2027, and its Idaho 1 project in the US is slated to begin adding capacity in mid-2027. These projects require massive capital investment and have long timelines, suggesting the current supply constraints won't be resolved quickly. Market reaction and investor sentiment. Wall Street analysts responded to the week's news with a wave of optimism. Conviction in Micron appears firm, with numerous analysts raising their price targets. Morgan Stanley boosted its target to $450. Deutsche Bank went to $500.
Mizuho and UBS also raised their targets to $480 and $450 respectively. One of the most bullish calls came from TD Cowen, setting a new street high target of $600. The consensus rating among dozens of analysts is a strong buy. This bullishness is mirrored in retail sentiment. Mentions of Micron on forums like Reddit's Wall Street Bets have surged, with the general tone shifting from bearish to very bullish. The overall news narrative is overwhelmingly positive, focused on an extraordinary trajectory for the business, driven by what's being called a perfect storm of high demand and tight supply. The stock's strong performance this week, despite some turbulence, aligned closely with this positive news and analyst sentiment. Technical and fundamental check-in. From a technical perspective, Micron stock is in a strong uptrend. It recently set an all-time high near $455 and continues to trade well above its long-term moving averages. One analyst did note that the stock was trading at a level historically stretched from its 200-day moving average, which could suggest a near-term pullback is possible, but the overall trend remains firmly positive. Fundamentally, while the stock has seen a massive rally, many analysts argue its valuation remains compelling. It trades at a forward price-to-earnings ratio of around 12, a notable discount to the S&P 500 and many of its semiconductor peers. This is because earnings are forecast to grow even faster than the stock price. Wall Street expects earnings per share to spike by 300% in fiscal 2026 to over $33, with another 35% growth projected for fiscal 2027. The dominant narrative is one of AI-fueled growth, though risks remain, including the industry's historical cyclicality, fierce competition, and the high costs of capacity expansion. What to watch next week? Looking ahead, investors will be watching for any further announcements from Micron's competitors, Samsung and SK Hynix, regarding their HBM production and supply agreements. News from major customers like NVIDIA about supplier qualifications for their next-generation platforms will also be critical. While Micron's next earnings report is not scheduled until late March, any company updates on pricing trends or production ramps could move the stock. From a price perspective, the recent all-time high around $455 is the key level to watch on the upside. The bull case scenario sees continued strength in memory pricing and smooth execution on the HBM4 ramp, pushing the stock to new highs. The bear case would involve a faster-than-expected increase in supply from competitors, which could put pressure on prices, or any sign of a slowdown in AI infrastructure spending. For now, the base case appears to be continued, though likely volatile gains, as the powerful fundamental story of AI-driven demand continues to unfold. Outro. Thank you for tuning in to TickerWatch. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode. We'll be back next week with another spotlight on the companies moving the market.